Morning, Bitcoiners. I hope you're doing well. I'm loving my life. Who could complain on a day like today? I can't. No way. The Rumble folks coming in. We got the official cup today. You know, the official cup. This is the official cup, you know. I got to drink it with the handle this way so you can all get the subliminal messages, you know. We love it. We love it. Boy, do we. So today's a bit of a strange show. I got to be honest. I don't know if Moscow time stops today. Really, it's just kind of the show. All right, like that's just what there is. I think it might get like this as we get closer to the election. I don't know if we can distinguish fake from. I mean, it's all the same now, right? So we're gonna do our best. I think the best we can do is to just compare it to the stuff we normally talk about and we've been talking about for a few years, and that's what we're going to do today. But I'm telling you, there is no line that divides like what we're talking about with how stupid the world is. There's just no way. Fiat and it's apocalypse, it's death. We're in the death throes. It's taking over everything as far as just the gravitational pull of it. So everything is stupid. There's nothing not stupid today. I've only got stupid stuff. That's it. It's all dumb. Assalamu alaikum says hacking group US DOD stole the stuff. Yeah, but we've known this for a long time. Like, here's a piece of advice, Breakup Gang. All right, and I mean it. You got to think about this, right? I know we like privacy and this and that, right? And we try, but everything is stolen, not except your Bitcoin, obviously. But every message you've ever sent, you need to prepare in your own life for everything you've ever said to become public at one point. Like all the emails, the DMs, none of that's real as far as being private. And none of it's private. None. It might have been for a little while, but it's all going to come out eventually. I've been operating for most of my life as if someone's reading my email, right? As if someone's reading my texts. And I mean, I think that was the case when I worked in Parliament anyway. That's where I sort of got used to it. Now, I guess I didn't do this when email first came out and stuff like that. I didn't really think about anything like that. But it's been 15 years that I assume no privacy. I assume everything is stolen and broken and this and that. And the Social Security stuff is fun because go years ago to my original report on Bitcoin that we published in the Senate of Canada. And you can see already in that report, I talk about social security number fraud in America and what an epidemic it had already become back then. And already that was something that I was talking about, like how do we abandon the social security number system was already something I was talking about in Decentral in Toronto with Vitalik Buterin and all these guys. That's the kind of stuff we were talking about back then. Like, this system is totally already infiltrated and useless. So what do you do, right? So this has been going on, the Social Security thing, assuming it's already broken. So I see the news today. Oh my God, people saying the Social Security number system is broken. It's always been like it's always been. Do you know how stupid Social Security fraud schemes are in America? You buy someone's Social Security number and then you just file a fake tax return. Just fake. You make up all the numbers, but you make sure you're poor enough to get a tax return, and then you get the return and you peace out. And then people who go to file their own real returns and put in the real money for what they made and all that stuff, or the real amount of money that they made, and they're just like, but you already filed and it said you're a welfare case and we just gave you a bunch of money. And they're like, no, I didn't do that. I have a job and all that stuff. And that's what they do. I mean, this has been a thing for a long, long time. So there you go. It's been out just assume it's all garbage anyway. Just assume, if it's the old, like if there's a 1% chance, but because the costs of it falling apart are so great, you just have to assume with 100% certainty that it is happening, right? Even if it's not, the trouble that it causes is so great, right? And I don't mean that people aren't getting their welfare checks and all that stuff. That's not what I mean. And even then, you saw a bunch of I saw Bitcoin NPCs saying, oh, what's going to happen? Because Preston Byrne sent this out saying Bitcoin addresses for everyone. And then even the Bitcoiners who are like this guy, Nelson Rosario, he's a lawyer. He's fine. He's fine. He's like a crypto lawyer, right? And he's like, oh, and then what? And then you lose your coin, you lose your keys and you don't exist. Yeah. What a boomer idea. Like you don't have paperwork, so reality stops. They really believe, the boomers really believe in the paperwork, right? You get all these boomers out there that think like, oh, America was infiltrated because someone owns the post office in Washington, D.C. It's like all a paperwork conspiracy, right? Like they filed the paperwork on time. They're the leader of the world, right? It's people who believe that are the same. It's as stupid as believing that there was a coup on January 6th in America. It's as dumb as that. Like the paperwork, because that's the January 6th thing was a paperwork thing. What was going to happen? The Buffalo guy got the keys to the nuclear codes because he was in the right room. Is that what they're arguing? So, you know, anyway, the whole social security system has got to go. It's the dumbest thing ever. Now, when the Bitcoin NPC is talking about that, no one says you actually get Bitcoin. It's just an address to identify yourself. No one says you get Bitcoin in it. What are they talking about? Oh, the government suddenly is going to have a bunch of Bitcoin to give to people. What are you even talking about, Nelson? There's no Bitcoin coming to people. It's just an address. And if you lose one, guess what? Do you know how many Bitcoin addresses there are? What an idiot. Like, just assuming, what are you going to do? Go down to the social, you're going to go down to the office and be like, I don't exist because I don't have a Bitcoin wallet. Like, get out of here. Just so dumb. Like, so dumb. So let's keep going with the social security scam system, right? All right. Yeah, you're not giving them Bitcoin. No one said anything about Bitcoin. It's just a Bitcoin address, okay? It's not Bitcoin. Like, it's not the same. It's not even close. So that's fine. Yeah, the paperwork. Yeah, now paperwork are PDFs. Yeah, there you go. No, Tommy, don't listen to that. We'll talk about it today. You can't. I tried. I was in it for the lulls. I went to the Ryan Selkis spaces where he listened at the same time. It's just fucking losing it. But what was great is that someone like me who programs, you know, this kind of stuff, and that's what it was. It was a Bitcoin show. It was the gutter. I can do an impression. I was going to save it for later, but Tommy wants it. So all of the presenters did this. So I was like I was a political organizer, and then I learned about blockchain technology, and I can see all the great things it's going to do for America and for minority people, and it's going to be the best because blockchain technology and the cryptocurrencies that come from it are really, really inspiring, and they're going to make positive change in the world because it's all about coming together and it's all about inclusion, and everything that has to do with inclusion really has to do with our positive attitude. And I just see so much positive stuff here. And when I look at the other side, I see mean people and all this other stuff. And so that's what's really important, okay? Because I was once a political organizer. Obama in the House, Obama administration people in the House. We're coming back. We know what we're doing. We're the best. That was the whole thing. So it was the absolute gutter. Like the dumb, like if one speaker like that happens on my agenda, I fucking freak out. I'm like, how did this happen? How did I get a mentally ill person speaking in cliches on my stage? Because I've been denying the like women has to be equal women on I don't do that. I haven't been doing that from the very beginning. I don't care. It's so stupid. Now I go out of my way. You know, I've learned and met many women that I had no idea who they were, and they're amazing, and I would put them on stage anytime. So you have a duty to get over your ignorance with this stuff, which I try to do, right? But it has nothing to do with like, we got to have 50% women and 50% men on stage, even if we get retarded conversations like we had last night. It was the dumbest conversation I've ever heard, and I couldn't stop laughing. I just couldn't. Like every person who came in, hi, I'm a political organizer and I learned about blockchain technology recently. Like I couldn't have programmed a worse show in 2015. I could not have assembled stupider people to speak so vacuously and so vapidly about this stuff that they found last night. It was a collection of retards. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was perfect. I love it. Right. We'll talk about it, what they're missing. There you go. There you go. There you go. Good Kamala impersonation. Yeah. All right. Oh, we forgot. We got it. Oh, yeah. We did some. We're not using Midjourney anymore, I don't think. We're going to keep trying the grok thing. I can't get the aspect ratio right yet, but at least they give me the characters. That's all I ask for, right? Midjourney won't give you Trump anymore. I was one of the first people to notice that. I tried to do some Trump images a few months ago and denied. Biden's been out for a long time, right? The only time I got it to make me Trump images when I said make a picture of fake news, and then Midjourney was making them for me. So that bugged me. But now, you know, you can't do Harris anymore. I mean, you can't even do Kamala Harris on Midjourney. It's ridiculous. So anyway, here she is. You know, that's from Grok this morning. We love Grok. We got to figure it out. Taking copious amounts of whippets. For any European in the crowd who doesn't know what a whippet is, it's when you take the whipped cream, whipped cream in America. I don't know if you get it like that in Europe. I think you do. We get it in like a can, a pressurized can, and you pour it out like that. But if you don't put out the actual whipped cream, you just take the gas in the can, you'll get high. So people, stupid people all the time go into the grocery stores in America and just do whippets and then collapse in the aisles. It's pretty funny. Can you upload your images to Midjourney? I don't know. Like, what do you mean? All of the other ones are produced on Midjourney. You can find me on the Discord if you want. It's just Count BTC. I think you can see all the images I've ever produced, including the prompts, if you join that Discord. But I don't know. Maybe not. Don't neglect the shrinking of your brain. Yeah. Well, I think a whippet is not as toxic as that Crypto for Harris thing last night. But we'll talk about it. First, we got to talk about another weird sun. I couldn't see anything until it peeked out way up here. There was literally nothing. No sign of a sun. I was like, oh my God, are we done? Am I going to have to cancel the show? No sunrise? But I was like, well, it's suspiciously gray out. So I'm sure there's a sun back there somewhere. So the sun came up. We're doing great. Bitcoin's running, everyone. Let's have a coffee and talk about what's new. All right. We got to first do our weather report, right? Where is it hot? What's going on? We like to start every morning with the news about where it's hot, right? Now, this one's pretty fun, right? Was July 2023 or July 2024 the hottest month on record? What's the answer? The answer is yes. The EU's weather found that July was the second hottest month ever, while NASA showed it was the hottest ever. So the EU, as everybody knows, has a very complete data set of the weather going back into the Roman times, right? So even further, some people say it goes back to the Egyptian times. That's what everyone was doing. The Roman army was really just a weather gathering unit, right? That's how they got into conflict. They actually just went around the world with their little Mercury, right? They would go around. Wasn't he a god of Rome or something? Yeah, of course he was a god, right? Mercury. You need the Mercury to tell the temperature. So that's what they were really doing the whole time. They were going up to England. It wasn't to colonize England. No, the Romans were going up to check, what's the temperature? Because in a few years, they're going to be wondering what the temperature was now. The whole point of their existence of the Roman Empire. So that's how we know, right? That's how we know. We have complete data from every corner of the earth at every stratosphere of the atmosphere. Now you're saying, no, that's not possible. They didn't even know the world was round. No. Everyone was doing it anyway, guys. Okay. And like I said, the Aboriginals in Australia, I was telling you about them the other day. We just heard it was the hottest ever at the Great Barrier Reef in history, right? So everyone knows. Obviously, it can be implied, right, that they were scuba diving over to the Great Barrier Reef from the shores of Australia, and they were going down with they had a bit of, they could hold their breath well. They didn't have as good submersives. They didn't have submarines, and they didn't have the snorkels, and they didn't know about glass either, so they couldn't have the goggles. And I don't know what they did with the mercury because they didn't have glass. They figured it out. It was fine, right? They were doing okay. And they went and checked out all the temperatures, and they kept a great record of them. Now, I know you're saying they were illiterate. They didn't have an alphabet. Doesn't matter. They counted with stones, and then they kept records of the stones. We found the stones, and it has all the temperatures of the Great Barrier Reef in history. Okay, in history. You didn't know. The stones were there. The answer was there. And it's the same with Europe and the Romans, right? The Dark Ages, no. They never stopped. Okay, temperatures every day, every hour, on the hour, conditions always categorized. So we know this is a completely credible number. Completely credible. Okay. But we got more. Where else is it hot? Oh, the deadly landslides in India were made worse by climate change. So every time you rev your engine and the air goes out of your engine, and everyone does it with their motors and their cars, and then there's way more emissions, right? Emissions. The emissions are everywhere. So when you got emissions in the air, it's not the same as normal air. Emissions are different than the other air. And then the emissions hit the land and it slides. Emissions make it slide. Okay, so we know now. Extreme rainfall made 10% heavier. See what I mean? It made it heavier by human-caused climate damage. We can measure the weight. Okay, we all know how to measure the air, and we've been consistently measuring the air, not the temperature. I didn't mention this. They've been doing temperature readings for years on the air, but they also weigh it. Stoichiometry, it's called, right? They weigh the air. So that this might be news to you. It might be news to you. India, just like the Aboriginals in Australia doing the all-time temperature gauges of the Great Barrier Reef, India has been weighing their air. Okay, they've been weighing their air for hundreds of years. Hundreds. There's stories about them having UFOs back in the day. What do you think the UFOs were doing in India? Measuring the weight, not the temperature of the air, the weight. Very important data set, right? So now we know that the air is 10% heavier than it used to be. It's conclusive. We know now, right? The air got heavier. And then because the air was so heavy, they had the landslides, right? So there you go. Now we know. The more you know. This one here is pretty dark. Whoops. This one's pretty dark, guys. Extreme heat is actually threatening education progress worldwide, right? Children today face more extreme weather hazards, and they can undermine global gains in education. Now, I used to miss school because of snow days, right? Snow days would come, and I lived on a hill, and they had this really weird rule that I wasn't allowed to walk down to the bottom of the hill to catch the bus to go to school. So the bus actually had to make it up the hill, and then I could catch it, right? So the bus would come up, try to come up the hill, but if it was snowing and he started sliding, I would be not even that far from him, not 100 feet, right? And I'd say, let's go. And he'd be struggling. And then when he failed, everyone at the stop would start going, yeah, but we didn't know that our education progress was getting thwarted. It got threatened, okay, by the snow. Now, it was terrible. I had to not go to school that day, okay? I had to play with my neighbors and friends, and we lived on a hill so we could go sliding, and we also had a skating rink, and we also had the lake and the forest and lots of stuff to do, but it thwarted. I could have been at school, guys. I could have been at school. I would have been way better off. So there you go. Education, the heat. In my case, it was the cold, right? But that's over now. Heat, much worse, much worse, right? All right, so that's the weather report. What we got next is the gaslighting report. These are the special Moscow Times section on how well Kamala and Tim Walz are doing in the election. How are they doing? Let's find out. How are they doing? Well, it looks like Minnesota, right, as a Minnesota climate champion, Governor Walz looked to California for inspiration. So we went, where's the place with the highest energy that has constant blackouts, that has to ration their energy, that doesn't allow people to wash their dishes, wash their clothes, and take a shower on the same day? I'm inspired. go, Minnesota. Make Minnesota like California. And everyone celebrates. It's so good, right? Now, some people say what makes California special is the weather and the topography. No. Everyone knows Tim Walz, he can't get that stuff because he's from Minnesota, right? He's got lakes. That's very beautiful. I like Minnesota. It's a beautiful place. I've been to Canada, so it's the Canada 2.0, right? So it's a great place. But that, he's going to get what he can get from California. So I think he's hoping to get the super high gas prices. If you really wanted to be that part of California and you're from Minnesota, Jevy, if you're here, just drive and get your gas in Manitoba, right? And then, or in Ontario, and you could pay California prices. It could all be yours if you just go to Canada and get the oil and the gas. You're going to be great. It's going to be awesome. So that's what we got for Walz. What else do we have? Oh, yes. Now, you've heard she wasn't, that they started by saying Kamala Harris wasn't the border czar. She had nothing to do with the border. It's not her. It's just the border, right? She said she was the czar, but then she wasn't. I believe her. But Associated Press taking a bit of a different tact here. Whether she was or wasn't, it doesn't matter. She was just choosing the long-term approach, okay? Presented with the rise in border crossings, Harris just chose the long-term approach to the problem, guys. It's the long-term approach, okay? It's the long-term approach. It's fine. It's no problem. This one's great, right? So Newsweek is telling us that Donald Trump might lose Florida. Florida's gone. Give up. It's done. Kamala got it. Oh, this one's good. Imagine that. You got to read this one with a snark, right? Trump moves to tie Harris to Biden on the economy. They're a team, he says, right? The former president also issued his own vague economic promises for a second term. So this is Trump being evil, trying to explain that Harris and Biden are a team. Well, how sinister. How sinister. They're right to be suspicious about Trump. Look at Trump trying to pull the wool over your eyes again. What a scammer he is. What a scammer Trump is. He's trying to tell you that Biden and Harris are a team. What a jerk. What an idiot. If this didn't prove how stupid Donald Trump was, I don't know what will, right? I mean, he's trying to prove that the president and the vice president of this administration are a team. Oh my God. I don't know what to tell you today, okay? Things are as dumb as they could possibly be, okay? And now the next one's awesome, all right? This is the Google headline. So I've been trying to keep up with the gaslighting Walz-Harris headlines, but they found a hack here that made it algorithmic. There's no keeping up with this amount of Moscow time. I don't know. I mean, we've got, this one's good. I forgot. I was setting up a bigger one. This one's also good. Instagram, right? It's fucking Instagram failing to crack down on hate speech against women, politics, right? Now, if you go and find out who this advocacy group is, right, it's all Keir Starmer's friends. It's all the same. You got to do the Mike Benz thing every time, right? You always got to know who the players are. So who are the players here? I'll tell you who they are. We got... Yes, they're a very fun group. So it's the advocacy group mentioned below. It's the Center for Countering Digital Hate. So the one they're actually mentioning here, okay? It's the Center for Countering Digital Hate. Is closely tied to Keir Starmer's Labour Party, the ones currently doing the ridiculous fascist crackdown on British citizens. What else do they say? So the fella they got in here is Imran Ahmed, is the guy running the advocacy group that garbage site CNBC is promoting, right? So he's a political operative who spent several years advising conservative members of the British Labour Party before jumping into nonprofit campaigning to run two interrelated dark money groups, Stop Funding Fake News and the Center for Countering Digital Hate. Shortly after appearing on Twitter in 2019, Stop Funding Fake News claimed some very sizable left-wing scalps in London, mostly by lobbying vague accusations of fake news at political enemies. The group helped to run Jeremy Corbyn out of the Labour Party leadership while tanking the lefty news site Canary after starting a boycott of their advertisers. Blah, 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 blah. Although CCDH is still based in the UK, Ahmed grew the group dramatically after he jumped across the Atlantic to incorporate CCDH as a DC nonprofit. In the stages, he forged ties to Hollywood talent agents and other stuff. Ahmed's story is hard to track. The two groups he's run, Stop Funding Fake News, seem to pop out of nowhere, switch addresses, rarely disclose funders, omit naming all employees, and feature websites that name disappear on the internet. So Jen Psaki and others. So there you go. This is just the same old Mike Benz thing we've seen for a long time, right? Scammy. But here's the fun one. This is the one that I can't keep up with. This is the Google scam that Kamala is running. If you don't know what this is, Owen Gregorian runs it down here. He says Kamala Harris is running Google ads, use fake news headlines. The Harris campaign has been editing news headlines and descriptions within Google search ads that run to make it appear as if The Guardian, Reuters, CBS News, and other major publishers are on her side, Axios has found. Why it matters. It's a common practice in the commercial advertising world that doesn't violate Google's policies. That's what they're saying. But the ad mimics real news results from search closely enough that they have news outlets caught off guard. According to Google's Ad Transparency Center, the Trump campaign isn't running these types of ads, but this technique has been used by campaigns before. The ads say that they are sponsored, but it's not immediately clear that the text that accompanies real news links is written by the campaigns and not by the media publication itself. What they're saying, while we understand why an organization might wish to align itself with the Guardian's trusted brand, we need to ensure it is being used appropriately and with our permission. We'll be reaching out to Google for more information about this practice, a Guardian spokesperson said. Spokespeople for brands such as CNN, USA Today, and NPR, whose links appeared in Harris before presidential ads, say that they were unaware their brand was being featured this way. Oh, they would have stopped it immediately if they knew. Reality check. Google said ads don't violate its rules, but platforms have in the past wrestled with whether this type of format can spread. Facebook banned the ability for advertisers to edit text from instant article news links in their ads in 2017, citing the continued efforts to stop the spread of misinformation and false news. So here's what we got. We got, let me do one more. Zoom in. Since August 3rd, nearly a dozen news companies have been used with these types of search ads from the Harris campaign. Independent UK, NPR, AP, The Guardian, USA Today, PBS, CNN, CBS News, Time, and the others. There we go. So here are some of the headlines, though. The headlines are fun. So we've got, what do we got here? We've got VP Harris's economic vision. This was in the Associated Press. Lower costs and higher wages. USA Today, Tim Waltz, military service, 24 years in the National Guard. Who is Kamala Harris on CNN? Vice President Kamala Harris. This one's great. Reuters, inflation is down. Under the Biden administration, the U.S. is winning the fight, right? So it's just, they go on and on and on. So it's just perfect, right? But we got more news about Google, not just Kamala Harris's scam, right? We've also got Eric Schmidt, the former CEO. He was into crypto for years. Completely ridiculous. His family office used to come to my office all the time in New York. I tried to get him to speak at an event, but whatever, blah, blah, blah. Here he says that Google's big problem, everyone. It's not that it's running political interference. It's not that its reputation is in the tank. It's not that everyone knows it's a cutout in the way that Mike Benz is described. No. The former CEO says it's the work from home. It's work from home. That's Google's trouble, everyone. They let everyone work from home. They're not serious. They're unserious, right? I don't know if any of this is true. Okay. Google here talking, or Trump here talking about what Google's doing to him, which is incredible. I don't know if you've seen this. Did I bring it? No. So according to many people, this is from Autism Capital. If you ask Google about the Trump assassination attempt, they call it hypothetical political violence, which is why one of the reasons why Trump is talking about rigging the elections yesterday, along with the Kamala Harris thing. This David Bowie thing says it was from August 13th, 2017. I think he was dead by then. So I don't think that was him. Anyway, just people were throwing that around yesterday. I'm a David Bowie fan, so it made it to the list. It's probably not true at all. All right. So I don't think he tweeted that. I don't know, but I just wanted to mention it. So what else do we got? Oh yeah, these are the best. These are my, you think we're done Moscow time. We're not. It never ends today. It's just Moscow time. Okay. Remember the Nord Stream pipeline. Imagine waking up today, right? When you were told Putin did it. Putin. And remember what the fake news said, why Putin blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, right? Because the Nord Stream pipeline brought oil from Russia to Germany. It sold them their oil, right? Or their whatever, natural gas. And so the argument was that Putin had some like financial contractual obligations coming up and he couldn't meet them. And the only way to avoid his reputational loss was to blow up the Nord Stream pipeline. They sold that until Seymour Hersh, of course, came along and broke the news about what really happened, that America did it. And this is just great. This is now America saying, no, Zelensky did it. And there's even a quote here where they're trying to say, this is from Mike Benz himself, right? This is from the article. When the CIA learned of the plan, they told Zelensky to abort it. So imagine the newspapers telling you, the CIA like, hey, Mr. Zelensky, can we have a meeting? I know you need money and everything from us, but I just really need a meeting with you, please. I know you're the president of Ukraine. I have so much respect for you. Please help us. Please help us. So he went. Okay, so the CIA went to Zelensky and said, please, Mr. Zelensky, whatever you do, abort this plan. Don't blow up the pipeline. Mike Ben says the CIA had no idea. They had no idea the Russians did it. The White House told us. The State Department told us. The whole time they knew they were lying, and the whole time they were lying, they all knew. We knew. They knew we were lying. But that's our country now. All deception, all the time. Please, Mr. Zelensky, don't blow it up. We can't negotiate with you. We can't. All right. So again, imagine you followed the fake news today. You could have watched the breakup 2 years ago and you would have known the truth about this, but we're not done. We're not done, right? There's more. This is what fiat sludge people have to wake up to every day. They have to change their whole worldview every day because it doesn't make sense. Okay. Now, the next one here is the best. This is all the Hunter Biden stuff about him not being a registered foreign agent. They're just learning now in the fake news. This is in the New York Times this morning, right? Hunter Biden sought State Department help for Ukrainian company. No way. No way. I can't believe this. This is too much. Zelensky blew up Nord Stream. Oh my God, did he do it for Hunter Biden's friends? We don't know. This is all news. It's all new, right? So what we know is that the New York Times has suddenly discovered that Hunter Biden never registered under FARA, despite making millions of dollars from Russia, China, Ukraine, and Romania. He made money? What? Now, this is a personal prediction that I made last summer. Okay, remember this last summer? I said anytime you're going to hear Hunter Biden news, there's going to be an alien story. There has to be an alien story. They're the same thing. They go together every time. It's one of my favorite breakup titles of all time. I called it "We See UFOs Because the U.S. Owes," right? So what happened? Indeed, like clockwork, yesterday the U.S. Congress is to investigate the controversial Peruvian mummies. This is in the English newspaper today. The Daily Mail says these are the real X-rays of the dolls, everyone. They're not drawings. I swear to God, Grok didn't make these. These are the real ones. Aliens are here, okay? The aliens has nothing to do with Hunter Biden. It has nothing to do with Nord Stream. Totally unrelated. We got to find out about the aliens, guys. We need to know more about the controversial dolls. Controversial dolls. Yes, 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 yes. We love it. All right. So let me see where my notes are. Indeed. Now, what we know is the following, right? This is from Millet. So yesterday, Millet said this, right? He goes, the crazy socialists in England are putting people in jail for posting on social media. Journalists would like it because they don't like having lost the monopoly on the microphone. Social media gives them back everything they did. Indeed. And which is one of the big reasons why yesterday's crypto for Harris thing was so dumb, right? Well, let me back it up 1 second. So just to show you how retarded the news is, and as if all of Moscow time wasn't enough, right? You're 2 years late in the news if you follow that shit, and then you've got to change your mind about stuff every single day because you're just getting abused. You're just getting punched with one hand and then the other hand, and then so your face is just going like this if you're following this kind of news all day, right? So yesterday you had Mark Cuban going with Jon Stewart, right? And they were talking about what Millet is talking about, but their opinion's a little different. Okay, so what they say is Cuban talking about Elon Musk, saying he's trying to be the most influential man in the world. When you write an algorithm, you set the parameters of what you want to see happen, and he certainly has done that to the things he likes. Stewart says he has a media empire that has the largest reach and most influence of anything on the face of the earth. And there's no question he's going to leverage it in this election. There's a need in the marketplace for something less biased and less toxic. Don't we love when they mention toxicity in our Bitcoin world? Yeah. They don't know anything about it. We're the only ones. Sure, as we all know, they are not letting left-wing media add. They're not, oh, the left wing's not getting a chance. Not on Twitter. No way. Neither one of these guys have a problem with an entire media industry built to lie, manufacture hoaxes, and flat out manipulate information in service of their preferred candidate. A single platform that provides uncensored information from all sides and now has an owner that doesn't align with the less preferred narratives is the only issue in today's political discourse and electoral events. Can't have that. So X must be attacked and destroyed. Cuban is looking like something's up. He's looking deranged, possessed. I don't know what's going on with the guy. Fucking scumbag, if you ask me. And then he goes to the fucking crypto for Harris thing last night, right? So he's one of the stupid, dribbling retards that tried to talk about crypto yesterday to the audience. And again, it was all just like, hi, I worked for the Obama administration and now I like blockchain technology. And it's all that shit, right? So they come and do it. What do they not talk about? They don't talk about self-custody. There's nothing about privacy. They don't even mention the words choke point 2 and 2.0. It never happened. Now go back to what you've heard Trump talk about. Trump has always talked about never selling your Bitcoin. You'll have the right to self-custody, and we're going to drill, baby, drill, go hard on energy, all of these things, right? Much clearer message than the fucking garbage you heard yesterday from that call. I mean, just the lowest common denominator, the absolute trash gutter of cliched, unimportant talk, just stupid fluff, right? Absolute fiat fluff, nonstop the whole time. So when you see that happening, when we can see these contrasts, when we can see what they're doing with this whatever crypto for Harris thing, of course it was a big waste of time. It was very stupid. But luckily Kamala, who didn't show up last night, right? She didn't show up. She did release her first ever policy that wasn't stolen from Trump. And what was it? It's price controls. She's come out with price controls. So now we've got Kamala out there arguing for price controls. Harris to propose federal ban on corporate price gouging on groceries and impose stiff penalties on the food industry. Maduro approves, according to Jordan Schachtel. And now we see all kinds of people talking about this. You've got basically everyone's saying this is just pure communism and it's the end of America and that should be it, right? And it probably is. Just think about it, right? She's has one policy now that she's felt comfortable coming out with, price controls. Do you think she's going to get checked on it for it being what it is? It's communism, right? It's worse than communism. And again, I'm not telling you that communism even is an attack that works. It destroys the entire system, right? Price controls on food breaks everything. And so she's going to go up there. She's now got this debate with Trump. And now we find out that the person running the debate, did you hear about this? The person running the debate between Kamala and Harris, her name is Dana Walden. So she'll be one of the people that hosts the presidential debate. She introduced Kamala to her husband at her house. You know, that's what we're going with here. So that's what's going on with these people. Imagine they're going to try and treat that as legit, right? Now, at the same time, you've got, you got to hear, before we get into our last thing, you got to hear the Karine Jean-Pierre try to explain the Hunter Biden thing in her press conference yesterday. I got to go back to that for 1 second. So NBC asked the Hunter Biden. So it looks like what I said last year is true. The deep state or whatever has turned on Biden 100% and is trying to destroy him now. So that's why Hunter's been left to the dogs. He did not win his negotiation. They lost. He came in, I believe Hunter Biden came in to, so even go back to last year. This is my hallucination, fill in the blanks on what happened with the Democrats and Joe and Hunter and everything. Last summer, they tried their best to tell Joe Biden to step down. Joe Biden needed to stay in the job to protect his son, right? Because of all the stuff happening. Fast forward to this summer, Joe Biden probably got rolled by his own team to go into that debate. They used that as a predicate. Now, when everyone says, why is Hunter in the White House? Why did he come? Jill is not a negotiator. Jill is like a babysitter, but she can't go out with other people and get stuff, right? So Biden stepping down was part of a negotiation. And Hunter was there, I think, to protect himself and to protect his dad, because the family business is over now, right? They can't money launder if his dad's out of office. So the whole thing would look very different had Hunter won the negotiation. It looks like Obama and Kamala threatened the 25th, pushed him out, and this is what we got. So it looks like they're going to feed him to the wolves. And Karine Jean-Pierre says, what can I say is what I've said before. He was not in the business with his son. He's certainly not aware of this. And this is something that Hunter Biden has to speak to. He's a private citizen. It's something for him to focus on. And I'm just going to leave it there. Okay. So let's look at what's going on. So imagine Kamala gets the woman who introduced them to be the moderator of the debate. The debate will happen just before it looks like Trump is going to be sent to jail. That's the rumor this morning. I don't know if it's true, but a lot of people saying it this morning. A lot of people saying that Trump's got to get ready for his he's got to get ready to go to jail for the merchant case. I don't even remember which one it is. Conservative accounts are claiming Trump will be sentenced to 1 year in prison on September 18th. They claim Rikers Island already has special accommodations ready. This is 2 months before the election. Do you believe them? So a lot of people saying that this morning. Tony Saruga says President Trump will 100% be sentenced to prison on September 18th. I'm told the sentence will be 1 year, but we'll see. The Marxist judge could change the sentencing at the last minute, but he is definitely sentencing Trump to at least 1 year. Rikers Island already has special accommodations ready. This is 2 months before the election. Now, you might say, well, Trump can avoid it. Trump can stay in Florida and not go to New York State because it's not a federal thing. And he could just get, he could avoid New York and stay out of it. Well, not that simple. It turns out that the mayor of Palm Beach is considering shutting down Mar-a-Lago and kicking Trump out of his house. So when people said Trump's campaign was stagnating and this and that, right? Might have looked like that for a while. But yesterday, Kamala comes out with price controls and with a new scam on Trump. Put him in jail, kick him out of his Florida house. It's kind of perfect. It's if Trump needed some momentum being an outlaw and a vigilante, he should go hide in El Salvador. Trump should go to El Salvador now and take refuge. Texas could be good. He could go to Texas. he's got to go to a Bitcoin country. He's just got to go to somewhere that's into Bitcoin and he's got to just campaign from there, right? I don't want to see him go to jail. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get real ugly. But there you go. That's what we got. We got to do a short one today, folks. I've got some stuff to take care of. The alien mummies are coming. Be afraid. Be very afraid. We will be. All right, team. Became apparent that the DARPA CIA engineered social media platforms for election-controlled outcomes. Yeah. Light is a good word for sociopaths. People are leaving Minnesota faster than they are entering. We're all laughing at CO2 emissions and climate change. However, the polls are actually moving quite fast for human scale. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Poll rejigging is a real thing. Indeed. All right, team. Just going through some of these comments. All right. Peace, everyone. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.